What's up guys, this is Cher talking, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I'll be making a full review for the Romancing Festival Professor banner. That's the second part of Halloween that brings 2 bunny units and a dragon. Well, the first bunny is Professor. She is a support unit, mostly use it on Remembrance. Bunnie, another support unit, and she can also be used outside of Remembrance, I believe, but not the best pick. There is also Mukchar, that is a farmer that only works on turn 2 and 3. That's right, a pretty strange character. You start talking about Professor, she gives the name to the banner, and she has 121% dexterity. That's actually a pretty good value. 102% agility, more than enough. Her wheel is 95, that's kind of usual for characters that are not exactly tank or anything. And endurance is 80%, that's not that bad as well. But, well, will still hurt when she takes physical damage. She reduces damage taken by 25% at all times and increases damage potential by 15% with her passive called Mad Sparks. Then on start of a turn, she has 3 different types of effects that will trigger separately with 50% chance. The first, she can apply Morale Down Medium to all enemies, decreasing damage taken by 25%. It's multiplicative with all other types of damage reduction. This lasts for 2 turns, so averagely you will usually have this working, but RNG can screw you up and you may just not have this active when it matters. Then we have Guard Down Medium, that increases the defense of the enemy by 25%, but, well, this is not really that important, it just increases your damage. You can think about it as a reverse morale up with 25%. Then she also reduces all enemies' status by 10%. This is kind of cool, I guess. But since it's attached to RNG and a boss will probably use the Fire Weakness by the end of a turn, well, it's unreliable. None of these effects are reliable, and in very hard challenges, you usually want reliable stuff, unless you don't care about that and you just need to clear it once anyway. Then, second passive is called Genius Bunnie. By the end of a turn, she will recover her HP by around 220, and then she will also recover 2 BP. So yeah, she is at least 5 EP per turn. And then she has a passive when she triggers her skill number 3 that I'll be discussing later. She still has intrinsic gun, so she will reduce damage taken when resisting by 40%. She has 37% chance to evade resisted attacks and increases damage potential by 20. So only 37% damage potential with this character, but she would still do more if she applies Guard Down, and your squad will do more as well. She won't take too much damage as a support unit, that's actually pretty nice. Now, moving for skill number 1, we have Hold Bullet. That is a free AoE attack with blunt damage and E power, so it's free, nice. It's just like spreading your normal attack towards all enemies. The second one is called Pink Gun Break. It's a full AoE attack that can only be used 2 times per battle, blunt damage as well, just D power. But when the attack lands, it will grant the target defense drop with medium effect. That is a type of defense down that lasts for the whole fight. That's right. So you decrease the defense by 10% and you can use this 2 times for all targets. This could be interesting. You can even use this Professor alongside counter units as one of your characters that will just die and let your counter unit do a lot of damage after she applied what she needed to do. Just like UniverSe can as well apply that heat down, and he can also just give 15% defense up to everyone. If you stack multiple cards with support for a counter unit, it will perform better. But not that this is important at all, it's just something fun to have. And increases damage together with Guard Down, so that's nice. The third one is called the Disco Hall Paradise. This is a fast attack with 3.S power that costs 10 BP. Before attacking, it will apply defense down medium to 1 target. This lasts for 2 turns. So, if you have it from Guard Down Medium, you can stack both effects so that you can decrease the defense of the enemy by 25%, and then again by another 25%, and then again by another 10%, and then again by another 10%. So this stacks multiplicatively, but damage will be pretty good, to be honest. And then, well, she has this additional effect when she uses Disco Hall Paradise with 50% chance to recover 5 BP. That's right. And also a 50% chance to recover her HP by medium effect. That would be enough to get her about 1,500 healing. That is nice because she doesn't take too much damage and will keep her HP on high levels, usually. So, It's pretty similar to the design of the latest Bohon, where he will do one attack and has some chances of triggering effects. In her case, she has a 50% chance to get enough BP to use Disco Hall Paradise again, so that she would try to keep this cycle of applying defense down and doing enough damage. But this damage is not as strong as our nukers. She is a type of character that you can bring into fights where maybe you have 3 supports and 1 damage dealer, and you still have space for another type of hybrid that is half the damage dealer and half a potentializer that will increase the damage of your main nuker. Then she works, but in my opinion this is not something that sticks, and it's a type of strategy that will just be forgotten when we get to the next anniversary and stronger damage dealers, because using 2 very strong damage dealers, it's always, or most of the time, better than using 1 strong damage dealer and 1 potentializer, for example. So as a whole, Professor would be better used on Remembrance than anywhere else. And in Remembrance, you may have already gotten Talon. I don't know if you pull it for Talon, but he is also a pretty good character for Remembrance, because he can heal the party with this skill high heal unit that revives, cleanses, removes debuffs, and can also apply defense down to increase damage potential of other characters. So you may not have space to just add Professor in the party, although they don't clash. All of their effects will work together. Now, as for inheritance, she does not need any. To be honest, she can do more Remembrance if you bring Stun Shot. That comes from her S style everyone has access to, so that she can stun enemies like Kazinsi in the future, and Confusion that comes from her first premium style that's old and you may get it by accident. But none of the other skills make too much sense with this character. She just wants to try to keep using her skill number 3, and that's actually good, because not eating inheritance just makes a character cheaper to invest. It's just that this character does not really have too much to offer besides Remembrance. Well, you could say that there is a good thing about Professor. Most of her debuffs cannot be removed by the enemy, besides the status debuffs. So that is actually good to increase the damage output of your party, but I don't think the damage output is a problem for Gun Remembrance if you have at least Leon. But it can speed up some fights to try to kill a boss before a certain number of turns, especially if you don't have the gimmick. But she will be fighting for a support slot, and if you can apply at least the morale down medium and keep that going, well, she'll be pretty nice. I guess if we would say about Professor as a Remembrance bait, she will receive an SS Plus grade just because she can apply morale down. But saying about normal content, well, she's not that important, and I would just give her a plain double S grade easily. But if you think differently, please say here in the comment section. I'm gonna take feedback when I update the tier list. This is also the last version of Professor released, and there's nothing on JP yet. The next character is Bunnie, and we have here a combination of way too many different things. Well, she tries to have good love and charisma, and her endurance and will have the same values, 82%. Dexterity and agility are not that great. I mean, agility is, but dexterity is pretty old for today's standards. Now, moving to passives, we have offense and defense too. When our allies are still surviving, she decreases damage taken by 20%. That's Scrum Guard with the additional 10% damage increase for everyone in the party. The second one is called Peaceful Wave. She has a 37% chance on the end of a turn to recover all surviving allies HP by around 250. She will also cleanse all ailments and remove all debuffs applied to the team. That's actually pretty nice, but 37% chance is not reliable. But on Remembrance, you only need to clear the stage once, and if something bad happens, she can actually save you, I guess. The third one is Latent Bloom Defense. Attack damage increases by 20%, and she triggers a defense up of medium infect 5 times for a total of 5 stacks, and that will decrease damage taken by around 40% alongside offense and defense. She's actually not going to take too much damage. Although her will is not that great, she may get inflicted with ailments, but since she's actually made for Remembrance, well, that will be okay most of the time. Her first skill is called Fan Dance of Fun. Yeah, it's a full AoE recovery skill that also revives. Can only be used once per battle, but it has a power. It will probably recover everyone from 0 to max, and it will also apply a heat up, increasing the potential for everyone's damage by 15%. That's pretty nice, and if you already have Talon, you're already pretty sad, to be honest. But she's competing with Talon as well. See how 2 characters are competing with another one in a banner? It's strange, since Talon can actually heal and revive twice, with lower power but should still be enough. And Talon can remove debuffs and cleans on this skill, not via passive, so he's more reliable, but he does not have Scrum Guard, so you are trading something for another thing. Still okay to have. Now, the skill number 2 is Flowing Shot. This can only be used 3 times per battle, another skill with limited use. It's a single target attack with 6 BP cost and S power that grants herself an end of turn recovery of 1 BP. So, after you use this 3 times, and you can use this 3 times in a row, she will have 6 BP per turn. That's right. And you can just use the recovery skill when you need, since she will be on 6 BP per turn and it only costs 5, unless you need to use it right on the start. Okay, and then skill number 3 is called Rapid Dance Fever. It's a single target attack with triple S power that has 10 BP cost, and when she attacks, she grants all surviving allies an attack boost and a defense boost of small effect that lasts for 3 turns and cans. Both effects have 15% value. And, well, after you stack it your Flowing Shot, and you can actually start using Rapid Dance Fever, you will be able to sometimes have 2 stacks of Rapid Dance Fever, actually most of the time, so 2 stacks of minus 15% damage alongside your Scrum Guard will actually allow your gun team to survive much better, even better than your Professor will do. So, pretty nice since you are also increasing damage with something that cannot be removed. Attack boost cannot be removed. But sadly there is a big problem here. If you use Flowing Shot 3 times in a row, well, turn 1, 2, and 3, by turn 4 you will not have enough BP to use Rapid Dance Fever. You actually have to wait to turn 5 unless you have someone else giving BP to the party. And by turn 5, well, you could have already died. That's right. Some boss fights are also solved by turn 7 or something, so she's gonna use Rapid Dance Fever by turn 5. Then again by turn 7, and on turn 7 you have 2 stacks of defense boost at least. So it's not that reliable, but may help later. And if you need to heal, you are also wasting 1 turn. So maybe it's actually good to pair her skills alongside maybe Talon. So actually Talon starts healing and she heals later if needed. If you have Talon, that is. Because I do believe that Bunnie is enough or Talon is enough. You don't need both. Especially because damage dealers from guns are usually pretty strong, like I said, Leon, Schuster, and the latest 260G with her overdrive damage. And as for inheritance, she gets 2 different skills from her A style that appears in premium banners. Wonder Beat can apply confusion, and you can use this for Wuhan Remembrance Battle. Proton Rocket has IQ, and it can be used in Siegfried Remembrance Battle. And if you have her first style, you also have Stun Shot that can apply stun versus Kazinsi in the future when we get more stages. But nothing here is important. When you are using your Bunnie, you'll be cycling skill number 3 after you cycle Flowing Shot, and then you have to do normal attacks here and then. It's a good unit. I believe that Bunnie deserves an SS plus rate. I believe she's also better than Professor that can be used in more scenarios. Adding more resistance is better than just increasing the damage. But then again, I don't think this character will be used outside of Remembrance. It's a character made to help people that are having difficulty. It's not really required. People still find ways to just brute force gun. And, well, if you get her, you get some good utility out of the character, but she's also pretty skippable. It's the last style of Bunnie so far on JP, so at least for now, there's nothing yet to come. Well, the last character that had Scrum Guard for guns was Zeke first style. Well, Zeke first style is still somewhat useful because he has evasion counter, but overall, Bunnie is better because you can actually get more of the character. You can still stack all effects from then as well, so no problem. If you want more sustain, bring both. And the last character is Mukchar, and oh my god, skip this character. He is just fun to have. He's a dragon, but he has 108% STR, 116 agility. Those values are not even that great. Endurance and wheel don't matter, and that's it. Forget about everything else. Passive number 1 is called Sleeping Beast. On the end of a turn, it will recover 4 BP and a max of 3 times per battle. So you get 3 turns up to turn 4. But you don't use Mukchar on turn 4 because he's a farmer. When landing an attack that kills a target, it will also recover 4 BP. It will always be 4 no matter how many units you kill. And on start of battle, it inflicts sleep on self. Sleep lasts for 4 turns. But when you change between waves, you'll be cleansed. That means that if you are using Mukchar for farming, first turn you cannot do anything, but on turn 2, he will do damage. That's right. The next passive is called Engage 4. By the start of round, we get a 50% increase in damage. And then we have Fired Up 7, increasing damage potential by 40% at all times. So by the end, we have 90% damage increase, and we'll be getting 7 BP per turn, and another 4 if we kill targets. Skill number 1 is called Stone Plus. That's an old skill. Triple S power with 9 BP cost, just blunt damage. Nothing stellar, not really good, just use Leon if you want blunt damage. Then we have Tail Attack Breath. This is a column attack that has blunt and heat and triple S power. Now we're talking. It's a strong attack, indeed. With 13 BP cost, you could not even use this on turn 1 if you wanted. But by turn 2, you actually have 17 BP. You can use this Tail Attack Breath and kill enemies on the second turn, and then you can use it again on the next turn. You can even use this 3 times in a row if you want, in any formation. But it's not like we have events with 3 waves all the time, or even with 4 waves when it's gonna happen. I don't know, man. And since he cannot attack on the first wave, why would you use it? We want to use units that can solo content or at least come close to it so that you can use other characters. I believe that they designed Mukchar so that you use someone that has very strong damage on turn 1 but cannot attack on turn 2, so you use Mukchar to complete. But it just does not make much sense. Then we have Thumping Animal March. That is a single target attack that attacks 2 times random enemies with double S power and a 16 BP cost. That's kind of crazy. Yes, double hits with double S power. It's much higher than what you can actually calculate with 4S damage. I could say that the damage here is similar to what you get with the third version of Leon, attacking and firing 2 chase attacks. So, well, Leon only spent 10 BP doing so, and you can use it 2 times in a row. But Mukchar will only be able to use this on turn 2. The only good thing is that if he kills 2 different targets, he actually recovers 8 BP, just like Silver and Albert does. But I don't see this happening too often, and since he only attacks on turn 2, why would this matter anyway? And as for Inheritance, he comes with his S style on the event. Forget about the first 2 skills, there is the third one called Burning Charge, that it's a roll attack with blunt and heat, and he can also use this 3 times in a row if he wants. So you cover blunt and heat, or column and row, but you cannot attack on turn 1. Hence why this unit is very, very lame. Sorry, I don't like this unit, and you should only pull if you love dragons, because they are cool, but he is pretty hard to recommend for anyone else, and we receive only an SS- grade, because that's actually the bottom. You cannot get worse than that. Don't pull for Mukchar, there's no future style of him. And now, back to the banner image. Is this banner worth summoning for? No, not really. If you really love the characters, you can make them work for Remembrance. Bunnie is very nice for Remembrance and Professor as well. But if you are okay with your gun team for Remembrance, just skip. Try to do with full damage, especially because Remembrance is having an update in the next 5 days. So after that, test your squad. If it's okay, don't pull for this banner. If you feel like you need some support, okay, you can try your luck here, but I would still not recommend. I would wait for characters that are more reliable. And Mukchar will be very sad to see when you are pulling. Imagine getting the Green Dragon on the machine and then Mukchar appears. And that would be sad. This banner only receives a bronze award, and I don't recommend for new players or for veterans unless you feel like you really, really need support for guns. But that's my opinion. What is yours? Please say here on the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't. And don't forget to join our Discord server. The link's in the description of the video. We always talk about SaGa and other JRPGs in general. I hope to see you soon in the next one. Bye.